You know, every now and again, I am surprised by a television show. Agatha All Along, Episode 3, is one of those shows, because it is one of the most boring, most unnecessary, most illogical pieces of television aired on any streaming platform in this, the year of our Lord, 2024. So let's get into it, and let's get through it. This is gonna suck. But before we get to it, if you could take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video out, we really appreciate it. It helps out the channel each and every week. When we last left our DEI coven of witches, they had escaped the most ineffective group of assassins and made it to the Witches' Road, and taken off their shoes. Why? I don't know, and neither does the show. So we begin with Mrs. Hart, our shoeless Karen of the coven, complaining about no cell phone service and being kidnapped. And then the rest of the hens start clucking, and we basically get the gist of what is going to happen for the remainder of the 7 episodes. The road is going to be a series of trials, testing each of the witches' skills. So basically the potion witch will have to brew a potion, and the other witches, well, the tarot card reader will probably have to predict something, and then the other 3, well, there's Agatha, so of course she'll be the last one to go in the finale, and then there's our Asian witch, who's not really a practicing witch, just the daughter of a witch, so I don't know there, and then Mrs. Hart, who's not a witch at all, because according to the song, you needed an earth witch to open the door to the road, but apparently someone who just likes to plant tulips and azaleas in their front yard will do, and yeah, if you think just a little bit, the whole thing just begins to fall apart. And here in the episode, Mrs. Hart decides to run off, because reasons, and she so happens to take a break on top of a sinking bog, and there's a joke about Talbots, but she's quickly saved, and then convenient plot point number 1 occurs. A large country home appears, so they go to it and just enter. When they do, they magically change clothes, and the rest of the next 10 minutes looks like a Hallmark commercial. Once inside, they find out that they are now locked in, and discover an invitation with a riddle. And we get some very humorous observations from Mrs. Hart about how the invitation is very expensive and card stock on both sides. Pure comedy gold. To keep the hilarity coming, we find out that the answer to the riddle is wine, and a bottle of wine appears with 5 empty glasses. Yep, a group of single middle-aged women are now going to drink wine in the middle of the day. Who could have seen that coming? Great writing, Jack. And let's face it, what we are witnessing is a masterclass in script writing at this point, because let's talk about efficiency. We were only 10 minutes into a 34-minute show when we get our first plot point. And that's not all. Exposition is now needed, and our potion witch pulls Wiccan aside to tell him not to trust Agatha, that she traded her own baby for the Darkhold, and then name drops Mephisto. And I'm thinking to myself a few things at this point. Number 1, this is how they followed up Deadpool and Wolverine with this damn series? Number 2, teasing Mephisto is this show's Darth Plagueis moment, and please, for the love of all that is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, do not waste that character by throwing him away on this dumpster fire of a show. And number 3, Agatha is supposed to be our protagonist here, right? How can I feel any sympathy for someone who gave away their child for personal gain? I don't care what they do later on in the show to redeem her. There are just some things that are irredeemable, and treating your child like a piece of junk at a flea market is one of those things. And of course, this whole conversation is a not so clever way to get the audience to think that Wiccan, or the so far unnamed teenager, may be Nicholas Sparks, Agatha's long-lost child, but again, that would make no sense because he is basically the character of Wiccan from the comics. The cursive M that appears when he cannot speak, it could be Maximoff, it could be Mephisto, it could be either of these, which makes him Wiccan. The show's emphasis on his sexual orientation. In the comics, Wiccan is gay, and either way, it's supposed to be Wiccan. So to make him Nicholas Sparks will make no sense at all in the end, but then again, none of the shows have made sense, so why start now? Okay, back to the wine drinking by the group of middle-aged women. Mrs. Hart gulps her wine. The rest, but Agatha, drink theirs too. A timer of 30 minutes goes off and starts ticking down. Wiccan sits down and asks the Asian witch about her tattoo. It's a symbol that wards off curses, she says, and that she got it at age 13, to which Wiccan infers that a lot happened to him at age 13 too, and most believe he's referencing his self-realization that he is gay, and this was crucial to the plot because this episode needed to remind us, in case we forgot from episode 2, or from reading the comics, that Wiccan is a gay character. Just in case you forgot, just in case it slipped your mind, they really wanted to emphasize Wiccan is a gay character. What does that mean for the plot? What does that mean for the rest of the story? What does that mean for the narrative? Absolutely nothing. They just want you to know he's gay. So now that we got that out of the way, and we'll probably have to learn about it again in episodes 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and on and on and on and on, because that's all the show is about, is promoting a message. But let's get back to what they call a plot. Okay, Now, because we've not had a blood drinking reference since episode 1, Mrs. Hart makes a statement that she would drink the blood of a virgin if she could get rid of her wrinkles. Again, comedy gold. And figuring what's been revealed about Hollywood over the last few years, and particularly the last few weeks, probably a meta commentary on how most of these actors and showrunners got their roles in the first place. So, hey, at least they're going for honesty here. Then they all turn into the cast of The Real Housewives of Marvel Studios. That's because the wine is poisoned. And after finding out Agatha did not drink her glass of wine, they all force her to drink it too, because reasons. None are given, but reasons. They figure out that the solution with the timer ticking down is to brew a potion that counteracts the poison. And of course, everything they need is readily available throughout the house, and most everything they need is also readily available at a Bath & Body Works. You know, essential oils, skin cream, honey, things that you would expect in any witch's brew. But time for another twist. Each witch starts having visions of bad things that are supposed to be scary, but none of them are scary. African-American witch is told by angry German man that she's an inconvenient woman, and then tries to drown her because men, right? Damn patriarchy. Asian witch sees her mother, who screams about not being able to protect her, and then she tries to poison herself because that's the solution to protecting your child, abandoning her at a young age. Good message. Old lady witch sees her own mortality and the figure of death. Why? Don't know. Really? Don't care. And these only last a second, and they're never mentioned again in the episode, and therefore they do nothing to advance the plot, explain anything about what's going on, or fit anywhere into anything. I guess that runtime needed to be stretched out a bit. Way to pad that show, Jack. The witches then regroup after the visions to brew the potion, but oh no, the house is now underwater. Why? We don't know. I guess because of magic? And if they don't brew the potion in time, the water will break through and drown them all. If only we were so lucky. Meanwhile, we are 25 minutes into the episode, and except for 2 lines about Agatha, we have yet to learn anything about our other characters or what the show is really about. Don't worry though, only 9 more minutes to go. I'm sure we'll get something. And in those 9 minutes, they brew the potion, which also includes the plastic jars of the skin cream, because if you boil a jar of skin cream, there is no doubt that it will magically open up under the water and be okay. Just like when I heat up a jar of ragu pasta sauce. I just throw the whole jar, glass and all, into the pot because that's how cooking works. And then Agatha has her vision, basically her crying baby that she gave up for the Darkhold, only this time she's sad about it. And again, no sympathy for her at all anymore. She's a shitty person and does not deserve redemption. She traded her child for a book. Now at this point, Jack Schaefer, the writer, thought to herself, what we need in this moment of the script is more blood drinking. So they cut Wiccan's hand and add his blood to the potion. They drink it, and then escape through the oven, which spits them back out into the witch's road like a water slide. But good news, apparently Mrs. Hart is dead. So no more jokes about handbags or menopausal observations for us. You know, they say that these shows aren't for me, but I think that was a moment when Jack might have been thinking about people like me. They said, let's get rid of this Karen, and hopefully that'll smooth things out going forward. And that's it. That's the end of the episode. And I'm not kidding. This was the show. This is what they produced. This is what they aired. A giant, boring, illogical, nothing burger. And I must address the narcissism of this show. And that's the end credits, if you care to watch. The end credits is a montage of witches from throughout history and pop culture, like Samantha from the 1960s Bewitched TV show, or Fairuza Balk from the 90s cult classic The Craft, or every other literary or cinematic witch you can think of, even Lisa Simpson from a Treehouse of Horror episode, which means this show thinks it did such a great job that it belongs in the pantheon and catalog of great witchcraft offerings from entertainment. And it doesn't. It's as if I went to play soccer at my local field and then posted a picture of myself on X, scoring a goal next to a picture of Ronaldo taking a penalty shot at the World Cup. You would be right in calling me delusional, and I would deserve it. This show, believing it is in any way entertaining in the way that those other offerings are, is just that, delusional. And that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I thank you for watching, and remember, I'm still your reluctant Gringo from south of the border. Salut and a huevo.